We'll call to order.
Call to order. I'll call us to order at 6:33. And I guess we jump to our first thing, which is the public comments. Do you I don't see any public here. Do you have any comments?
Comments.
Okay, moving right along. We have a great presentation put together. Are you gonna walk us through this?
Yeah, so I was gonna go ahead and screen share it.
That'd be great. And Jen was giving me a little bit of context before the meeting started. This is the a slide presentation put together by we had talked at a previous meeting about reaching out to Teresa Murray Clausen, who does the sponsorship stuff for the Green Mountain Film Festival, and this is the results of that effort. So, very encouraging, I think. Yeah, take it away.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I lost. Lost the
I
TV.
think it's just the adapter.
All right.
There we go.
Okay.
We got our screen back here.
So I think initially when we talked about alternative revenue streams, I'd reached out to a couple of different AMOs and they had talked about sponsorship and underwriting. I think we thought that might be the easiest way to try to start off with the alternate revenue. So I reached out to Teresa and we originally had a conversation. She was super excited about taking that on, and she does sponsorship for the Green Mountain Film Festival. And so she's very familiar with ORCA. She's familiar with, I think she worked with VT Digger and the bridge. So she's familiar with our area and the people we serve. So I think, and then she brought in Stacy Peters, who does so she does like digital work with VT Digger, the bridge, and like the Green Mountain Film Festival. So I think I'm just gonna go through the presentation pretty quickly. So I think what we started to talk about was putting together a system so that we could reach out to different organizations for underwriting and what that would look like. And so I think what we're looking is it's pretty heavy in the beginning, and then hopefully once the system's set up, we can just do it ongoing, and it'll be just reaching out to the various organizations as they've been pinpointed. So I think initially what we're looking at is like underwriting. So what that means is it wouldn't be ads that play on the channel. It would be like embedded within the video, like an organization sponsors or underwrites like the city council meeting. And so at the beginning of the video, it would say, you know, this meeting is underwritten by so-and-so. So it would be reaching out to different people, organizations to see if they want to sponsor or underwrite a meeting. And then, so I think we have chosen to like go with that. And I think what we were looking to get from the board was if there were issues or questions about getting sponsorships and getting people to underwrite different meetings. And I wanted to show some of what the video, like what it would look like on the video, that if a meeting gets sponsored, this is what our videos would look like. So, and
we weren't sure of the wording.
yeah, so, this is a deck that we did back in January. So I met with them and I talked about like, we're looking to try it in terms of language, like sponsorships and underwriting. So not ads. We're not selling ads. We're not doing advertising. It's just different organizations have chosen to underwrite different events that we record. And so whether it's made possible, I feel like it might just be that we say it was, you know, underwritten by, I feel a little bit, I'm hesitant about made possible or presented by, because they're not presented, like, for me, underwriting doesn't necessarily, presenting feels a little bit more ownershipy of that meeting versus like that it was underwritten or sponsored, I guess. So, but yes?
I'm sorry, could you just, and I know this is probably a stupid question, but that's never stopped me before. What is the difference between underwriting and sponsorship?
So I think it is, it's really just, I feel like it's underwriting is what we're looking to do. I don't know that there's a very clear definition of difference of what a sponsorship versus an underwriting. I think they're used interchangeably. I've always used them interchangeably, and it may be that we just need to select what works. But I feel like the sponsorship could be also a little bit broader than just
Right.
like a show or a
Right.
recording gets underwritten, but different things like we could sponsor the whole series, like the summer concert series could
Can it be this event is brought to you with the help of?
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, I think made possible just like isn't true because
Yeah.
we've been doing it for years.
Right.
yeah.
And I completely like underwriting an in-studio show is an easy call, but like what if okay, I see you have Sarducci's of it. What if Sarducci's had some zoning issue before this, the city council? We're getting into some waters here, and I
Right.
just want to think this stuff out. Um,
So
that's my first like, huh?
so is
This
the
is a different
underwriting
animal than sponsoring an in-studio show.
I think it's important for us, whether through an attorney or something, to make sure we understand if there is a definition, particularly from a legal perspective, as you're alluding to. So we may want to do a little research.
Oops, sorry, I lost our presentation.
Well, can we make it so that it's a little bit more generic? That way, like that, that underwriting, it's a little bit more generic. Instead of this particular episode or this particular thing, it's more, the umbrella ORCA media with the help of, I don't know, make it more generic that way.
So I do want to share, like, I have a sheet that I got from I think the ACM, the community media, and that talks about underwriting that I just maybe will pull up to see. So sorry, I'm going to stop sharing for a second while I pull that up.
Underwriting versus sponsorship.
Underwriting and sponsorship both provide financial support, but they differ. Underwriting covers specific event costs, like catering, aiming to eliminate expenses. Sponsorship, on the other hand, focuses on broader branding and marketing opportunities.
There we go.
Yeah.
So this is also in our Google Drive. So
Okay.
this is the best practices that I pulled from the Alliance for Community Media.
Can you paste that link into the chat?
Right.
Oh, that's great. So it looks like sponsorship is very specific as to what they're paying for, whereas underwriting is
Right.
trusting that the people you're supporting know what the heck they're doing.
I'm also wondering if we need the Montpelier City Council's okay on the underwriter.
So that could be if we get, when we get started as part of the system, as we could add that as like reaching out to the meeting that, like, I think it was like the sales package, and it could be like, here are the meetings that are up for underwriting or available to be underwritten. so that when they go out to talk to different organizations to see if they want to underwrite it, that it's already been okayed. So I think we can let them know, like, I think one of it is like, as they're developing that sales package, to make sure that the meetings that we're offering to be underwritten are okay with being underwritten. So,
And just picking up on Carlos's point about the generic, maybe something
Yeah.
like a city council meeting has multiple underwriters, so it's not tagged as like, this business owns the meeting, kind of weird thing. And maybe it's a multiple, more spread out, I guess.
Might be helpful to see how, is something that they do at the other, like at Media Factory or Town Meeting TV? Do they have, how do they tag them on lower thirds?
so when I looked through, I think I looked at the, Paul Snyder is the executive director, so which one?
Northeast.
TV, so yeah.
Northeast.
So they have sports that get underwritten, and what they did is on their lower thirds, like the logos would show up for a little bit and then they would go out, but their lower thirds would also flash in and out, so it didn't stay the whole time. And they had it wasn't on the title card, so it'd be like the title card, and then the next piece was like, it's underwritten by the logos, and then it would go into the meeting. And so whether we want to have it always there, I think maybe they didn't even like have like it's underwritten or presented by, it was just like the logos would flash of the organizations that were sponsoring the sports. So I think it could be that, as part of that sales package list of, these are the meetings, it might be the sports, and then it'll give them kind of who to hit up for whichever type of meeting. So maybe, and it could be that I felt like if it flashed on every so often, it would be okay. Like, it felt better than it being on there, like, for the whole time. I guess that would be, do we have like, is that sales package based on like, it flashes up 5 times during that meeting, it flashes up 2 times, and you pay different amounts of how many times you want it to flash, I guess. So it would be.
Jen, I get sports definitely, but did you find any examples of underwriting of governmental decision-making bodies?
So I think there was some for the town meeting. So the town meetings seemed like they had some sponsors, and it depends on, or not sponsors, but maybe some underwriters. So I did see some samples of the town meetings with that, but not necessarily. I don't remember seeing any regularly scheduled meetings like every select board, but I can reach out and see if anyone had, because I was just doing a quick glimmer to see what others were doing in terms of placement of logos as well as text.
Could it be at the beginning of the meeting, at the end of the meeting? And that's it, and instead of having a tier system of how many times, just have it, this is it, beginning and end, no matter who you are, what you are.
I mean, it's definitely clearer,
Right,
beginning, end, or if it's up all the time, at least it's like one sort of thing.
right. And then, yeah, like beginning and end, maybe, possibly, and then at the same time, I think, alluding more to not so much the particular meeting, but this whole thing is made possible because of these businesses, like, getting cameras, right? Like maintaining cameras, all that stuff. But that is kind of the feel we want to go for, right? Like, not this particular meeting is being funded by this, but the process of filming a live thing is made possible because of these contributions.
I mean, it does open up the opportunity to, when you even approach different groups and say, you're going to be on the list of potential things to be sponsored, then they would say, oh, why is that? And you say, well, because we have to pay people.
Right.
And we have declining revenues. And so it could start a conversation that then leads to them saying, oh, why don't we actually
find some sponsors, or here are some people.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, anything that we can do to try to
Right.
get less work on our side to have to try to find something, and it could
Right.
be, you know, look. we're
And I
looking-
think that idea, I mean, and it's very smart, the idea of this is not ads, we're not trying to sell a product.
Right.
We're just asking for your support to keep this going, which is very different. I think
Yeah,
people are more inclined to do that.
The PBS model is like, at the beginning of the show, they said it's
And at the end,
brought to you by the generous contribution of
Yep.
so-and-so and viewers like you. Like it's, the door
Right.
remains open for receiving support.
right. That's a good point, yes. And it's at the beginning, at the end.
So I was gonna say, so do we also want to have like a QR code on the video that says donate, like that takes you to our donate page? Is that something like we don't necessarily add anything to our video, but we could do that if we wanted to try to get more people to.
Mm. I mean, like if it's like at the end card, with a statement like "in viewers like you," click here. I could see it as part of something like that. I'm a frequently given a hard time because I've always hated QR codes, but I have to use them because everyone's using them now.
Right.
Well, Chad, I think that's why it got quiet, is because a lot of people secretly hate it.
No, I don't know how I feel about that, right? You know, I don't know when I'm watching something, if it appears, how I feel about it. I'm not sure. I don't watch that much TV, you know, or cable for that matter to kind of think about that. But I think it's a good question to ask. How do we feel when we see a QR code at the end of the show asking for money? That's a
Well, I've
question.
never been able to open them, so I have no idea. But I can't. But I know that at Campaign for Vermont, we put together several types of sponsorship. You know, giving sponsors a few things and then adding on to that and adding on to that, depending on what they give us. And the same with underwriting. I think you have to it's not just one sponsorship, one underwriting. It should be a couple of packages where we would maybe like Lost Nation Theater has these really cool flags they put around the studio when people are there, so you can see their sponsors, and we could certainly do that in the studio. Not that we got a lot of folks coming in and out, but it's one thing to add to the package. I think we need to come up with a couple of different packages. And
Yeah, actually, Jen, I think on the next slide, I really like what you have here as the potentially sponsoring the banner for the YouTube. Looks really good.
Yeah, I
think
agree
that
with
looks
that.
good.
That is more the general, like, or the umbrella, ORCA media you're sponsoring, ORCA
Right.
media, not the specific video. And I like that a
I
lot.
like that it could be a
Right.
tier, and this could be up at a higher tier. And like,
Yep.
and the next thing that you have on the website, I think looks really good too.
So I did talk to them about, like, I feel like just like I was a little hesitant to have ads on our website. I feel like YouTube has a lot of ads, and that's what we use for our video servers. But to have our website be like not like
Right.
tagged with anything and have it be really kind of like available to everything. So I did tell them that I was less inclined to have any type of ads on our website versus like it's one thing to be in the video, but that our website could be somewhere that just isn't being bombarded with ads and just where the videos live.
I think a message like "thank you to our donors" is better than like, "Hey, come out and have some dinner," because that's a true ad. Come out for Valentine's Day.
That's true.
That is
But
an
the
ad.
texts were more like a thank you from ORCA to
Mhm.
an underwriter. That feels a little cleaner.
So, and I think this is not so much underwriting, but just like getting some of the relationships of some of the other news organizations out there. And I think, you know, like whether we had always, I think there had been talk about trying to get postings in Front Porch Forum when we have like select board meetings that are ready to view. And this may be a way to try to get more people involved or watching the videos by having the local newspaper talk about like, here's the meetings. And I know that the bridge uses our screenshots or takes screenshots of our video to do their photos on their articles, but they don't really necessarily link to us. It just, and so it's like maybe like being like, okay, well, you're using us, so why not link to us so people can
Right.
actually watch it too.
Yeah.
So I think it's those types of conversations to just really kind of get that relationship going. So, so they are working at the organization. So this is something that they said maybe is something that the board could also kind of take on, is to think about the businesses that they know or the organizations that they know that might be, you know, a good fit or like we should talk to or reach out to. So any information or ideas on that, and definitely send them to us. And I will relay that. And they are working on a rate card. And this is very, I think, part of that front loading of items that they're working on is like to look at what other organizations are doing and what they're selling. So they're doing some research, market research-ish type stuff to see what would make sense in terms of rate. And so these other bits, I don't know if necessarily, because they're still kind of working on it. So, and it's part of getting that system together so that we can hopefully have a system that we can pop anyone into once it's been developed, so that we know who we've been contacting, who's into who has bought stuff. And so that'll be in the next few months that we're working on. So I think I can go through the other slides, but I don't, they're still being processed. So it's, you know, these are just ideas, quick ideas of what we're also thinking of. I don't know if we necessarily need to, if anyone has questions, definitely happy to answer, and also relay those questions to Teresa and
Jim, do they have an idea of who or do we have an idea of who our audience is? I know we're citywide and all that stuff, but who actually watches us? Because you were looking for that code thing you were talking about. Some of us old folks don't know how to use that. And if our population that watches us is older, we need to think about that as well.
I think it's hard to know because we don't get any demographics from the cable folk.
Right.
We have some analytics from who watches us on YouTube, but it's not, I don't know that how granular it gets, so that we know people from Bethel, are they watching us? We're hoping that they, I don't know that when I look through some of the Google Analytics on the YouTube videos, it doesn't pull out that it's Bethel, or, so it's like, I think one of the bits are like, we don't know necessarily who's watching us. I've been, and hopefully maybe with Stacy, because that's what she's very good at, is looking at analytics, that we can come up with an easy way to try to pull some of that data of, you know, do we know necessarily how many people in Bethel are watching us? We can do some of the rough analytics that YouTube just provides.
That's what draws sponsors and underwriters, is the number of people that watch us and that we can reach. I don't think a company, if we say we were picked up by 10 public access station, you know, maybe we have a statewide visibility, but still, how many people are watching? That's what they really want to know, I would think.
I think that because our numbers, like, we don't have those numbers and our numbers are little, I think part of what that cost or our messaging might be is be a part of local democracy and be, you know, it's more of like, we're not going to get the numbers to really make it like a good return on investment type feel.
Right.
Yeah.
So it really is like, you know, be a part of your, you know, your select board or help with local democracy. And we're going to have to try to, I think, count on that type of messaging versus like you have, 25 people watched.
Hmm.
Because that's kind of like what we're looking at of, we did the Bethel concert series and we had 100 people watching. Does that, it seems like a lot because I don't know how many people are out there in Bethel, but so.
Yeah, I get it. I wish they would be able to tell how many people.
I think
They
that also may run afoul of your
The underwriting where like
underwriting.
it's not about
Yeah,
impressions or views.
yeah, it's not
Right.
supposed to be about that.
Definitely not.
So yeah, I think that your branding idea is right. It's an idea to be part of contributing to your community. You're supporting a nonprofit. I think that makes sense. I would say about QR codes, like I like Pat's share skepticism that people actually can get their phones up and scan it on a TV screen.
Mhm.
I think QR codes are effective if they're on, like, if you had like a shiny fundraising deck and at the back of it, or like a postcard.
Mhm.
Sometimes I've gotten good responses off of that, or at a live event, we put up a little cards and it has a QR code on it, and I get a lot of donations off of that at a live event. When people don't have money to put in the little jar. But I've seen no evidence or proof against whether it works on a TV
I
screen.
would imagine like if we left it on the lower third down at the back, like, and so it's always there. So like you have a longer like window of time to try to get it. Would
These
be.
people have got really big TVs or something. I've tried to scan
I
them.
put it right in the middle at the end of the show, after the show, after the credits over black, underwriting, and then the QR code scan me for about 8 seconds, 8 Mississippi seconds.
Scan here if you want the meeting to start.
Yeah.
Not that, but no, at the end.
Ransom.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what would you like feedback from the board on the general concept of this and direction of pluses, minuses, direction to go?
So I think I have notes in terms of, I heard that we want to be careful about who wants to make sure that we know which meetings or which municipals want to be sponsored or underwritten, and to make sure that sales package kind of has that okay from those meetings that are getting underwritten.
But that's adding more work to you.
Huh?
On your end, it adds more work to you, dividing up what are the meetings that one versus, I mean, for me, I see it as an umbrella. Like overall, you're, underwriting ORCA media, not the meeting and not the place and people.
Kind of like that, like ORCA media.
Whatever, yeah, the message for me, it's, the message is about underwriting ORCA media and not that particular meeting. Because if you do it by meetings, then you would have to see what meetings want to be sponsored by.
Right.
It'll become underwritten by, it'll become like a nightmare, right?
I guess it comes to maybe it becomes, so I'll let them know about the umbrella versus like meetings. I think they were thinking meetings just because like it's a very defined like group of people that are interested in like if the municipal, so maybe we go to your, people who are watching it. So I guess it made it a little bit easier than a general like call for donate like underwriting. So whether I'll talk to them about if we just do an umbrella versus like a set, I think it helped them just like say, okay, well, it's easy to make a sales pack, or it's easier to make a sales package, say, do you want to underwrite 10 meetings? And they're like, yes, versus like, do you want to underwrite
I could
ORCA?
see that where we get in trouble with everything being umbrella is that you only have one who can be like the overall sponsor for the month, or like with that banner, if we had 5 sponsors, it's gonna take up the entire
Well,
banner.
no, umbrellas under umbrellas, this is underwritten by this, and that. I've heard that online, I've heard that in the news when they're underwritten. It could be various people underwriting the same, underwriting.
I mean, I see that, but I mean, it seems like a very good like value add. If I had like the general store in Bethel, then I
Right.
could sponsor the Bethel town meeting. It's like, it would make a lot of sense as opposed to just everything on ORCA.
Yeah, so town meeting's also like a cultural event. The one thing I'm most concerned about is a single sponsor of like a city council or a select board meeting. And I heard Carlos say generic, and I heard Pat say packages. It just seems like there'd be some good ways to avoid that, like, the Randolph Select Board brought to you by Du Bois and King. It looks a little too close to me, and I would definitely, call the lawyers on that particular issue.
Mhm.
Okay, so, and I'll reach out to the other AMOs to see if anyone has select board meetings or the council meetings that are sponsored. Like, so maybe do we say, like, the sports I know definitely get sponsored, so maybe we could let them know about like the sports that we do would be something to, if they're looking to kind of start off and do some mock-ups, or that we could do the sports.
Jan, who's my buddy? He's an independent producer for us. Zach, what's his name? He's moving.
Larry,
Yeah, Larry is sponsored by quite a few people.
I think the community producers are in a different category, like they can find their own sponsors or underwriters and do whatever they need to do
Right.
to fund their show.
Yeah,
So that
'cause
might be harder to kind of get into the same as like a select board or a school board
Right.
type meeting.
Because I know he's got several within the disabled community. And I'm assuming he takes some of that for as a revenue for him to make some money, I'm presuming.
Yeah, I don't know. So
Yeah, I think he does, which is good for him. But I think we first have to agree on what's the difference between the two of them. And if somebody mentioned the word graduated, if there's different levels of subscription and different levels of underwriting, that's a good thing to do, because people, they want to be the best, so they get the higher level, and that's a good way to make money. I can send you what we do at Campaign for Vermont. You can see how we break it out, Jen, if you want.
Page after prospects, where they roughed out the rate card ideas for different tiers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think
yeah, the
we have
tiers,
talked
that's the word.
about, like the persistent sponsorship and maybe like reducing like how long it stays on the lower third versus the whole time.
But getting that info from Campaign from Vermont, I think would be
Yes.
helpful.
Yeah, I'll send it.
Definitely, I know how we do it for like our film tour. You could do one screening. You can sponsor, or you can sponsor the entire film tour, and that like is substantially more. And there are certain things that come with that package, like you are always on our website listed as a sponsor, et cetera, for X amount of months. We have everything like very, very defined.
And I think that because Teresa does the sponsorship for the Green Mountain Film Festival, it's very similar in that
Yeah.
approach. So if we need to redirect, or like say, whether like getting that information about the select board and the city council meetings, whether they can be underwritten and what that looks like, and that may be that's the shift that we need to let her know about that. It isn't very discreet that way.
I mean, it feels a little bit less icky if it's like a card before the meeting starts, brought to you by boom, 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 boom. Montpelier Live, Sarducci's, this group. Thanks to our sponsors, and then it goes into the thing, as opposed to like being up all the time. Where it's like now.
Oh yeah, no, you don't want that.
It may help us with some of the sort of ick factor.
Okay, so I think that's where we are, and I'm just, I will meet again with Teresa, and if anyone has other questions, they're more than welcome to shoot me an email with, if there were other concerns that you wanted me to take to Teresa as well.
Okay.
Okay, so
Thank you. Yeah, if, unless we have anything else to talk about, I don't think we need to vote to,
No,
move along. But we can do so if there are no objections. Next is our strategic planning update. And what do we have for this one? The circles update.
So I think I was just doing outreach and working with the alternative revenue stream as being part of all outreach and looking at pulling like organizations we work with to see if, to give them a head start of like, these are groups that maybe work well with us. So I think I didn't actually meet with the board folks for outreach, but I was doing that stuff for them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's great progress on that. Shows how, as we were talking about before the meeting started, how sometimes like just engaging someone who's a specialist gets it done very quickly and often cheaper if you calculate labor cost and time.
And so I think, I wrote it in, I think our co-director's report, but in terms of like funding for Teresa and Stacy and working on this alternative revenue project, I just wanted to say that, we're paying for it because we had budgeted, and we budgeted last year as well, but we didn't use any of it, a part-time person that would work as a community engagement / fundraiser. Because that was the piece that used to be part of Christopher's co-director position, was to do that piece. So by having someone, a full-time who's just operations support and community outreach in a less fundraising way, that money, so I think we had budgeted $500 per pay period, so it comes out to be about like $1,000 a month. So were you planning on using that amount for this project, and we're front loading it, so because they're doing a lot more work in the beginning to set up the systems, that it won't work out to be just $1,000 per month. It'll be probably it'll be more. And because they're not being hired as staff, you're gonna see that money in the independent contractors line rather than as part of compensation. So, I mean, they're not doing it for free, they are, but they do know our budget is $12,000 for the year, because I told them, this is what it is, and so that's kind of what they're working on. They've also reached out to the Vermont Community Foundation to see if there's any type of grants or funding that might be able to help out with toward this alternative revenue project, as we're calling it. So hopefully, if that works out, there may be some extra funding from that piece that might help with getting the system put together.
And that's the outreach circle. So what from our other circles would we what is the status and plan? I know that we have not gotten back together with the facilities group. Is there when do we want to try and get another meeting?
We should do it sooner rather than later, now that I'm recovered.
Right. That's been through the ringers.
Yeah, well. We could probably, schedule a meeting, do you want to figure that out?
I think we can take that offline,
Yeah.
but yeah,
No
I think
problem.
that like making a plan to get some meetings going, so it
Yeah.
isn't just where we don't forget about it. If we could try and engage on that,
That'd be good.
yeah, and like in the next week, get something scheduled.
Yep.
And the other one is what,
The
policies?
policy, so that's me also, and we only have Michael because Palin was on it, so it is, I have some policies to kind of work through as part of like the audit request. So I do have some of those to kind of work through. I haven't worked on it because I got distracted with
There's
other
only
stuff.
one of you.
So, but I do think that it makes sense to try to pull someone else into policy circle. So if anyone else is interested in joining the policy circle to look at some policies and help write them or rewrite them, or at least just review them, would be great.
So right now it's just you and Michael.
Mhm.
Jen, how do you meet? Zoom or in person?
Zoom usually?
I'd like to help on that if we do Zoom.
Okay. Okay, Pat, so I'll put you in there.
That's sort of my background. I, um, I, I wanted to go back, and I shouldn't be doing this, but on the alternative issue, would you be able to justify, I saw a $300 sponsorship. Sometimes they ask you, what does this cover? And I think we would need to know, the hourly rate of the producers. I mean, you need to justify that a little bit with overhead and know how to get close to why you're asking $300 plus profit. Just to keep in mind that they may ask you, what does this cover? You know what I'm saying?
I think so. So I mean, as part of, we have like a rough formula that we use to see like what it costs us, ORCA, to do a
Right.
meeting. And so I think, we could say, this is like, if it's a 4-hour meeting, we know like, here's our rough camera operator. We know it's like how much
Perfect.
prep time, how much post-pro. So I think we do have a formula that we
Excellent.
use. Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because that you don't want to be surprised in a meeting. I don't know. Cool.
And that can be like, I think stuff like that is good for it could be a good thing to, if you circle back around with some sponsors and say, thanks to what you sponsored, it was able to cover this, 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 and this.
Oh, there
I
you
think
go.
that's good. I think you're gonna, it's nice for a thank you. I bet you sell more sponsorships, sell may be the wrong word, but, by like promoting democracy and supporting your communities than that, will be my guess, but I think it's a good point.
Good.
Oh, hey. I think we can move along, right? We're down to the exciting part, the financial report. We don't seem to have CJ with us tonight.
No. So, I think it's primarily, this is the meeting right after the end of the year, so you can kind of see how 2025 looks. And, the couple bits that I still need to add in are just recommendations from the auditors about like rental accrual and, PTO stuff. But in terms of what got spent and what didn't get spent, I think one of the things that came out from the budget talks this year or last year was we've always had a deficit budget. We just have always moved stuff into the capital gains in the budget to kind of zero out the budget. So, in terms of looking at how much revenue we brought in and how much expenses we spent, we did, we didn't have enough. So we did pull some money, from, I think, the youth documentary lab that we had. So we did need to kind of theoretically go into savings a little bit to pull in some money. We also, what this budget report doesn't show is that we also spent 30,000 for the hypercaster. So we also had to pull in some, and that was, mainly the excess from last year. So this report doesn't show, because that goes into fixed assets and it's not part of the budget report here, but it is in terms of, we did need to pull in from savings, theoretically from savings to cover the hypercaster, as well as we were like $6,000, almost 7,000, that we needed to bring over. So, but in terms of, at the same time, we were way under against budget, so we didn't spend like as much. So even like we didn't spend as much as we had budgeted. So even though we were 20,000 under budget, we were still not, like, we didn't bring enough revenue to still cover our expenses. So I think it just shows that, that decline and getting that alternate revenue kind of going in, is still an issue. I think it is. So that's 2025. I don't know if anyone had any questions about if there were any expenses or expenditures that were surprising.
So what is the total, the top top line number that we actually were under on actuals? 6? That the 67675, this one, net income? On
So
page
yeah,
2?
net income is what, like, we were negative, so we didn't bring in, that shows that we spent more than we brought in.
And then it looks like,
Oh,
or are you still going?
no, I wasn't.
The very top number, revenue from cable, using that 297 number is predicted. That actual is 276, so that came in like over $20,000 less than anticipated. Is my math good there?
Mm-hmm.
So that would have more than erased the 6 if we were kind of in the good old days of those quarterly budgets being a little more robust.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just seems to be where the hole is.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and I think, this number, like, we changed how we budgeted for 2026 on our revenue. So like the 2025 budget was built on taking the lowest check and using that amount for the whole year. This year we try to predict like it'd be a 4% decrease for the entire year. So we use that versus just like the amount. And we still are, so we did change how we did that budget formula, but it's definitely that decrease is there, and I think we were up higher on production revenue than we expected, but it's still, we're looking to try to find like $25,000 to cover, because it's like, that's just, the 21 was in operating and then you have the capital, so it's about like 25 that would have kind of covered that difference. But at the same time, we were also under budget by 20,000.
Right.
So I guess across both of those, we netted maybe 0.
Jen, what number did you use budgeting that 4010 line for 2026? Did you just say 275 or anticipate it would go down again, or?
I'm sorry, Michael, can you repeat that question?
The 4010 number we're talking about
Yep.
for 2026, how did you figure out what number to use? Did you just?
I took that last year's number and did a 4% decrease
Okay,
against,
thank you.
Yeah, I see that on 2026, it's budgeted for 262, 4.
262, thank you.
mhm.
Mm.
So if that's 2025, I guess if there were any questions. For 2026, if we're still talking about the revenue, so we had budgeted a 4% decline, and this check came in at a -5%. So even when we did the best fit and try to come up with an accurate number, it's still like it's declining way more or faster than we expected. So once again, we probably will be under budget on the cable revenue again for 2026, even though we tried really hard to be closer to that. So
Yeah, thank you. I've scrolled down now to that 26, and I see that 43 actual. That's less than a quarter, huh? Is that
and this is
a
still
3-month thing that's in 2 years, or?
so because of how the cable revenue comes in, this is still predictive. So we just got the check, which cleaned out till December. So we still haven't received the check that would be for January, February, March. So based on the check that we got, that was reflective of the last quarter, we would still be under budget. So the 43 is as if we got the same amount during from the last check. So it's still a little bit, and then when we do get the check, I go back and I correct that invoice to reflect exactly what it is. but it's still a little bit predictive. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
So, that's 2026. We're expecting that the budget for the revenue will still be a little bit off. But hopefully, I mean, hopefully we'll make some more. We budgeted a little bit higher for production revenue this year, but it still was less than what we got. So hopefully we might be able to try to make a little bit more in that production revenue, but it could be also that the sponsorship / underwriting maybe will help with that too. And I think that Teresa appreciates the urgency that we all were kind of feeling about, like trying to get that alternate revenue at least started so that we can see what kind of pans out if we need to make changes. So hopefully we will see some. It's not in our budget for any sponsorship or underwriting revenue, but hopefully we'll have some of that. When it's, it's the beginning of the year, I don't think we're a little bit. I think there hasn't been any like big changes yet, but, we're under on camera operators, we're a little low staffed on camera operators, so we are gonna do another, I think, posting on Front Porch Forum for some camera operators, but we are, and also we're understaffed in the full-time position of operations support. We're having Annika step in, but she's only scheduled for 25 versus the 40 of a full-time person, so we are, I think, under staff there, so we are still using Annika oftentimes as a camera operator than just staff support, just because we need her to be as a camera operator, so we are kind of trying to resolve that. Okay, so I think that's the financials.
So, I would, I guess, accept a motion to approve the financials, and if we have any further discussion, we can do after it has been so moved.
I move that we accept the financials.
And I'll second.
We have any discussion? Okay.
Yeah, Jen.
Sorry. So as we were talking about the alternate revenue, I did want to move the 12,000 or the amount that we had budgeted in compensation for the community engagement fundraising person into consultants, so that right now we don't have anything budgeted for consultants, but it lives in the compensation line. So I did want to shift that, if that would be okay. So that we can kind of keep track against the consultants.
So this would be before the motion, is that correct?
I'm sorry.
So we can add it as an amendment. Now would be the time. So what is it that you would like to amend so Carlos can have it?
I'm not sure.
So you would like to move the how
I
much?
think we can just move to accept the financials with the additional information that Jen provided.
Okay.
Would that do it?
Sounds good to me.
With, you said you wanted to do what, with the
I wanted
comments?
to accept the financials with the
That part-
additional information that Jen provided.
I want the additional information is what I would like.
So I would like to shift the amount that we budgeted for the community engagement person and compensation into the consultants line on the budget.
From what to what?
From compensation to consultants.
Okay.
To be clear, there's no change in the total amount.
No.
It's just being shifted to another line.
To shift the amount or just, because you said amount?
the amount.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. So if you feel good, then we can vote on, accepting the budget with the shift of the, those,
Shift the amount we budgeted for compensation to the consultants line.
right. So all in favor?
I,
Opposed? So moved.
Okay.
Yep. We're up to the, unless we have anything else, we can go to the co-director's report.
So just the state house or legislative season has started. And so I think, our approach for the state house, because they have their own committee rooms, we generally are focusing on room 11 and room 10, the bigger rooms, and the pavilion building, and covering those meetings, and they tend to be joint meetings as well. And we're doing, and we cover a lot of you can see in the live streams, we do a lot of press conferences. So
Yeah.
people in the Cedar Creek room, if they're doing it, and how we do the governor's press conference, but we only cover the press conferences that have been requested. So if an organizer or a member of the public want us to cover a particular press conference that's happening, we have them request it through our online form, because we can't cover all the press conferences, so we make it like, if someone asks, we don't say no, so we go out and cover it. And so
How
that's.
do we let them know that?
So if they email us, or if they, and then I think as more organizations know to reach out to us, they continuously reach out again and again, anytime that there's a press conference. So it shows how, that people know that we're available to be used. And so I think so oftentimes we get like a splash of media advisories as just part of like their general emailed out. And so we may reply and say, if you want us to cover this meeting or this press conference, you can send in a request. And so oftentimes it'll just be a response back to an email saying, if you do want us to cover, please submit the form. And I think that's outside of like special events that are happening at the State House, whether it's like the public hearings, if they're in room 11 or 10, then we'll cover them. And the governor, whatever the governor does, we generally will do. And if there's any type of.
Sorry, state official, like
Yeah.
treasurer.
If it's a state agency, we'll do. It's really the press conferences of the organization, of an organization or a group of folks that want us to cover something. So I think because we're not in the State House as much to do the committee rooms, we have less volume in terms of actual State House meetings. But hopefully with
So
more
less with the committees, with the meeting rooms.
Yeah, I'm sorry?
Less with the meeting rooms.
Yeah, less with the meeting rooms, more with the press conference. And we are still trying to do a couple meetings, and there are a couple meetings a week, and it's mainly room 11 and 10.
Jen, is that because of Zoom, you think?
Yeah, just because they have their own cameras in there, and so for us to go in there, and it's such a small space that it looks redundant, and it feels like a waste of money for us to do something that they're already doing. So I
Right.
think how we've always kind of selected is we're hopefully providing a better video. And that's where room 11 and 10, where they're much bigger and it's hard to follow who's talking with their Zoom setup, that it makes sense for us to cover because we do look better or sound better.
Good.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
and I think
That's where we shine.
so that's the production piece. Outreach, Annika's been doing great. She
Mhm.
Just 1 second before we move on from the production, is there any sort of indication of, are these all the things that we just cover as like free productions, or is there any indication of which are pay per service?
So I think these are, Recovery Day is one, the Norwich we get paid for, Recovery Day. I think they're offering to give us a donation. They didn't have us in the budget, but, they give us
Mental health advocacy day.
CPA, same also. Those are, they're not, like Norwich pays like the full rate of, you know, this is what it costs. The Recovery Day and I think Mental Health are willing to give us a donation. I think North Branch Nature Center, they did give us a donation in the past, so it's more of, and so not Peace. Those are the ones that are bringing in a little bit of money. So with outreach, so Annika's starting in, and so she started at the beginning of January, and she is a camera operator, and she's done internships at Media Factory. She's at, I feel like it was GNAT, so at other AMOs, so she's familiar with the AMO lifestyle and world, and so she does like primarily when someone reaches out for coverage, she's the one who reaches back, like emails back and gets details and talks to them. And so I think, and that's how kind of we separated out the operational support community outreach from the community engagement fundraiser. So she is starting relationships and interacting with the public, but in a less money way, I guess. And she's doing great. And, she is though just at 25 hours, so we are a little understaffed on that end, so.
I would try to use her less as a camera operator, more in the outreach.
Yes, we are trying
Right,
to
because-
shift it. I think it's just when we don't have a camera operator who can cover, because part of
Right,
is that she's trained in all the different types of events, so it's trying to get someone to take that place, and so that is our plan to move, and she is right now at 25 hours, just because she's working to try to figure out if she can do 40 hours, so we are trying to figure that piece out, but it isn't, she's not at 25 because we want her to be at 25, but it's just kind of where it is right now.
right.
Jen, has she reached out to Katie Trouts and tried to get a relationship with Montpelier Alive? I just think that's an important relationship we should try to build on.
So I think that there has been some interaction because Montpelier Live has reached out, like we're doing Spice on Snow, Snow on Spice,
Oh, right.
Spice on Snow, the music festival coming up. So I mean, we have some relationships with the Montpelier Live folks because they know to fill out the form and get us to come out. So I think it is definitely there to have that type of relationship. I think
Good.
maybe along the lines of, we have been thinking about maybe like asking them to donate some money towards some of those events that we cover for them.
Yep.
So it is a conversation that we kind of were starting to think about of, you know, could they maybe
Yeah, I
provide
agree.
some kind of monetary
Yep.
amount.
Does Annika have a job title?
She is the community outreach / operational support staff or support.
Operations.
Support.
Yeah.
And so, I think I went over the finances pretty much. It's just a reiteration of the stuff that we've talked about. The Comcast check being lower. We did get the full van amount from fiscal year 2020 6, and that's, you'll see that, and we are using it for this year. And I think the other bit was, so the governor's budget, so Van's request is 1.89 for fiscal 2027. So we had put that in with the Secretary of State. The governor's budget only had us at 1.35, which it looks like they just level funded. So there are Van's going into the committee rooms, and it seems like the request for them to put it back to 1.89 is being received very well. And it does include 90,000 for community radio, and I think that's a new piece that we're trying to, we're working with community radio for the funding as well, just because I think the state, like some of the legislators were asking about when we went for our request, they'd be like, well, where's community radio? You know, what do you know about community radio? So we started to have those conversations with the community radio, and so they're part of that request. So hopefully we will get the full amount of 1.89, but if it turns out that, you know, we don't get that support and it just goes with what's in the budget, it'd be the same as we got this year, minus, I think, a little bit for the radio, so
1.85,
89.
but we would get
1.35 is what's in the
35.
budget. Right now.
Who's taking the lead on that, Jen? Your lobbyist?
Yes, so the band folks and the lobbyists, I think, two different people testified at the House Gov Ops meeting when they were doing the budget memo, and it seemed like our full amount got into the budget memo, is my understanding, but it's not quite official if that's true, so.
I'm sorry, who did you say who were the lobbyists? I didn't catch that.
Action circles, so it's.
Oh, okay. Yep, I know, because they're moving quick on the budget. Because I've testified in House Gov Ops and House Appropriations, and it's going to be going over to the Senate soon.
Mhm. So I think, yes, there was two people that did testify at Gov Ops and Appropriations, so I think hopefully we'll have the full amount, but that's where it is currently.
Okay, cool.
And then the last bit was, I generally have put the content report for the year, so hopefully this will also, like, as, you know, we don't know who's watching us, but hopefully we could let, like, if we're going out to like Bethel, we could say, you know, we did 63 different types or 63 events for Bethel. We covered, you know, however many municipals, and so we are starting to collect the data for that we could take back to them and say, you know, we did so many meetings here in your community, and so that's 2025, and then we started to do 2026. But so I guess hopefully those, like the number of events that we cover might help with the sponsorship and the underwriting.
It should.
So I think that if you had any.
No, we talked about the press conferences in the State House, so.
So I think that's it for the directors, unless there's
Good job.
questions.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Was there something last time, there was something we were talking about, at some point, like Carlos and I, like doing some sort of event or something? Was that, Carlos, do you remember what I'm talking about? There was, remember if it was like a, workshop or something? That we were talking
Yes.
about being able to do?
Yeah, we were talking about, I mean, yeah, we were talking about, you know, how do we get producers to come in, people to start producing more work here? And it was, I think, if I recall, it was about creating little workshops in which I mean, we could put them together and I could just do one-day workshops in which, well, when Sean was here also, like shooting the short horror film and things like that, to try to get producers here, teach them how to do it, and have people go out and start creating content, especially the high school. I know you all have
The filmmaking club.
yeah.
So yes,
So what support do they need is a question.
so I think, you know, they came in once, so theoretically, they were supposed to come in every Monday. I think that based on all the different things that they have going on in their life, they've just come in once, and I think
Yeah, I think
Monica, well, since last time,
Oh,
like since January, they've
Yeah.
only come in once. And I think Annika met with them, so it was in the co-director's report about like the filmmaking club that they came and they looked in the studio. But I think that, I don't know,
I'm sorry, was that was what we were talking about?
I think so. It's the reason I wondered is because of the art walk thing that was listed here, I was looking at that and I was like, I wonder if there's some sort of thing that we could do for Art Walk that might, if this didn't pull in very many people, I wonder if it's something film media focused might be a draw. We did a discussion at Media Factory, another nonprofit, my Vermont Production Collective, and had a panel discussion on making short films and had like 6 filmmakers there, and we got like 30-ish people. It was a packed room. And they don't, people donated. I think that the tickets were
Right.
like pay what you can, and
Right.
so Media Factory got some donations from that too.
So, and I'm sorry, I'm just trying to put these things together, and then can you finish what you were saying about the group that came in?
Oh, so
Yeah.
they
Students?
are, I think I don't know that they have a plan, like a video or a movie that they want. They came in and they had, they kind of threw around some ideas. They came into the studio, I think, and looked around. And so I don't know,
Yeah.
like,
Like practice, played around.
yeah,
recorded.
so
It's
I
not
don't know how
anything
focused they are
serious.
about making a film. They might be just like a hangout club that they're, with the
Right.
notion of doing a
And
film.
again, and I think that's fine also, but if they bring in like having a little bit more like focus, for example, and the club for them, it could just be watching films and talking about them, discussing them, having those sort of things. And I'm thinking, is there a way in which for Art Walk, the problem that we're having for Art Walk is getting the people up here. That's the big
Yeah.
problem here. Is there a way that we could go to, or Media could go to Art Walk, right? And I'm talking about, going downtown and maybe, where we used to be inside of that building, the Necky building, like, I don't know how possible that would be to do something like that, like bring what we produce, what we do, bring it down there. Or even showcase like like the show little festival we had here, the short films, like present it down there somewhere. Or even at the city hall, for example, somewhere.
Well, the good thing that they do, they always do this at Media Factory. We had the discussion, and like before we started having the conversation, or they invited them after, they're like, while you're here, come over here and look at our other stuff, our
Right.
facilities here. Look at these cameras, look at this stuff. And they explain the policies. You can check this
Right.
stuff out. And it was like a pitch
Right,
also. And
Right.
Sean did that when people were coming up here.
right. So is there a way in which Art Walk, we bring it down there, somehow have something on the TV like this, like a bigger TV, or the banner or Media is bringing this little selection of short films for Art Walk, for example. Because the other thing I wanted to say, yes, the Media Factory does do that, and I have actually, so like 2 people are competing in the film slam, and I asked them, do you need gear? And they said, no, I think I'll get everything from Media Factory. So these are people that are in Burlington that have access to that and understand that. So that's kind of the population we want to build, we want to cultivate somehow.
Yeah, because we have a lot of
Right.
talented filmmakers
Yep.
and media makers around here. It'd be great to
Right,
let those students be able to make more things.
right. The thing is, how do we get them up here, right? Which for me seems it's like the big issue. So,
Does the
So-
Grange participate? Zachary?
No, and they've
First
moved.
closed.
The
They
Greenway,
moved
did
downtown.
Greenway do the art walk too, or?
I don't know if they did it last month. It's a good question. We will have an easier time when it's not as snowy.
right,
So
Right.
I think for February, February art walk, it was very quick from, like, we didn't have ample time to try to reach out to anybody. And I think the game show idea was something we were just kind of working on anyway. So we're like, we'll just do that real quick because we need a
That was
test run.
fun.
It was fun, yeah.
So the
I
game,
participated in that. That was
Oh, yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
think the game show, we're gonna try to do every other month on the first Friday as just like, as something that's not related to Art Walk, but just so that we can see if more people we can try to get people to come in to play.
Yeah.
And because the setup, like that first art walk or that first game show, we wanted to test run it to see what it looked like and how if we needed to make changes. So I think we have plans to do another Folks Feud on Friday, March 6th. So if you have a team of filmmakers that you want to come and play. But so I think for February, March, April's film or art walk. So we started to think about it since it takes more time to get. And so I think what we were, just because part of what Jessica had mentioned on the previous about art and getting, like, having it be related to art, we reached out, or Annika had some people that she knew that are willing to make art. So they are going to come, and I think she's got a plaster clay person who's going to show about making like these creations, and we're gonna record it. And so it's like, we were thinking like Bob
Right.
Ross style, like, or like just, making art on camera here. So as well as having their art. So I think that was our plan for the next one, just to try to see about, okay, if we can get it, just because I think we started to reach out to see we could find people to do their art on camera and make something while people watch. That was one.
What if they also learned how to, if the people make recording, we're also learning how to light it well.
Right,
Mhm.
right,
That could be interesting.
Yeah. absolutely.
So it's one of the things that is a difference maker in how something looks.
So,
That's interesting, yeah. And so there'd be multiple people at the same event, different artists
we could,
at the same
we're gonna
thing,
see
or?
how many we can reach out to be, to come
Yeah.
and make their art on camera.
Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, and be live streamed.
We could live stream it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would definitely be cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but in terms of like, if you want to do any other type of event and workshop, and if you want it to be, like, definitely let us know, and we're happy to help set up. And
Yeah, I was trying to remember what it was that we had said way back. It feels like we haven't met in
I
forever.
know.
I don't want to lose track of that because I do think that we can get some people out.
Well, let's talk about this later. Maybe if we remember
Yeah.
the day, we could go back to the minutes back then and find it there.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was the last meeting.
Is who does the horse and buggy ride around town? Any way we could get them to come up our way?
I don't know.
Maybe Vermont Alive.
Yeah, maybe they're the ones. If we could get them to come up and make a circle so that people could come up and then catch it going back down. That's fun.
These horses will get really tired going up and down East State Street.
Yeah.
No, I do.
Yeah.
And that'd be fun, some kind of funky way to get up here.
Mhm. Well, I think I sidetracked us off of the co-director's report. Is there anything else we need to do to before motioning to accept that?
Oh, yep, I'll do it. So moved.
I'll second it. How's that?
Good job.
And approve, if there's no more discussion.
Aye.
That says aye.
Me too, I.
All right, sorry. I led that vote very incoherently. It's my first time.
Doing good.
Oh, okay, where are we at?
approval of minutes.
Hmm.
So I emailed that out, as well as the minutes now live in the Google Drive. So it wasn't a part of the packet, sorry. I didn't realize that it was done in there. So I can put them up I can share screen if that helps,
Or
or
do we want to just do them together next time with the next ones that are here?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
Because I
we,
haven't read them.
that would be, some people want probably
yeah.
hard copy, maybe, I don't know.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, so we'll approve the minutes
next
for
time.
this meeting and the previous meeting in our next board meeting.
Okay.
What's the date of the next, of the art walk?
Oh.
April? Are they doing it every even numbered month?
Mhm.
Yeah.
The reason I was asking, because we were talking about people making art and also maybe lighting art to make it look really well.
Mm.
And I was wondering whether it's going to be dark for the art walk at the next art walk, because it would be much better if it was dark outside
Right.
and we were using lights to see how the art that was created or was already there could be best presented.
Hmm.
So I
Well,
was
it'd be dark
curious about.
it'd be dark in the studio, right? If they're doing it in here, were you talking about having them in the studio?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking in the studio.
Yeah, but I was just thinking people might have an idea of wanting to go work on lighting art at an art walk in the dark than in the broad daylight with sun.
Mm. That'd be cool. I thought those lanterns they made with the lights were wonderful when they were walking around.
Mhm. All right, so if we're gonna kick the minutes to the next meeting, and then our next spot is the old business. We have
Could I talk
Oh, sure.
about the audit and what we need to do to go full circle on the audit? We've got some outstanding things we've got to do.
oh, that sounds like old business. So yeah, let's jump into that.
So with the audit, there were some policies that they wanted us to update, so I'm working on those.
Okay.
There's I think we have a system of trying to get all the invoices for Zach to approve. I have that uh, in a Monday. I have a system kind of set up and I'm trying to make sure to gather all, like when the invoices come in that are auto paid, that I put them on there and then it's there for Zach to review and look at. So we've got a rough plan of the system to try to get Zach to look through it. I've been doing all this, like the recommendations that she had about like signing the timesheets. So those are all being kind of put into play. I think the things that are outstanding, and I'll have to reach out to her also to see if she, what still needs to happen to get the official, like she gave us the draft and had all those recommendations. So I don't know what the final steps need to happen to get the final audit, but all those recommendations are being put into practice or play or set up.
I'm assuming you have to write a letter and just say all the things you've done in response, and then she could issue a final audit.
I
Right?
think I don't know that the final audit is based on us putting those, like those are recommendations that she said that we should do, and it's us putting it in for good, like for the organization, but I don't think it's holding up the audit. It was going through their own internal review is where it was at. So they were just like, she's like, you should do these things. We said, okay, and we're gonna do it. But whether we actually do it or not is now within the board's purview rather than theirs. And I think my understanding is that they have a whole system on their end that reviews her audit and that's where it was at.
And
So
nothing she gave us was considered a material breach, was it? No.
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 So I'll reach out to her to see, what are the final steps to try to just get that finalized.
Okay. Because I think we all agreed on all of her recommendations.
Is this sort of stuff that can be put into a employee manual policy sort of document in the policy circle and
Yes.
codified?
So it'll be part of like, not the employee handbook, but policies and procedures, like
Okay.
the accounting manual is
Mhm.
probably where that will live.
It's a big deal to get to, at least it was when I worked in Barry City. You'd think there was going to be a parade scheduled, but because it's so complicated over there. And I think. if
And
you
are there
know-
any changes coming up as we approach tax time for our rent and our use of the facility with our landlord?
Hmm.
So in March, there is an increase in our rent. And that's,
Uh-huh.
I think, in terms of our lease being over, we just renewed it, so we're good. And it's just like, there will be an increase in our rent, I think, in March.
But no other red tape.
No.
Good.
And then,
There's a Green Mountain.
so
Framework.
Yeah,
there's-
we still have that on there. I know that this was, is there an update on?
So I reached out and they formed the LLC, but then she's put it on hold while the Green Mountain Film Festival is happening. And so she plans to pick it up once the festival is done. I did want to, while the Green Mountain Film Festival is here and talking about, I know in previous meetings, we talked about having ORCA be more visible as the fiscal sponsor. So they do have us in their poster as partnered with ORCA
Right.
Media. And I didn't know, and we are going to cover some of the Q&As, I think, as just like, that's what we do. I didn't know when I reach out to her about what does it look like for us to be more visible? Like, what are some of our expectations, or what are we asking for? I wasn't sure.
I think if they allow us to create a banner to have over there during the festival, letting the people know the things that we could possibly do, like teach filmmaking, provide gear, production gear, like, I don't know.
So
Bring
like,
more awareness to ORCA Media, right? Shine some light in
Mhm.
this way. No,
so they have do they have like a volunteer, like a table down there that we can maybe put like our little, not a rate sheet, but just these are services we provide, or and some, I guess, do we want to ask about sending swag?
Yeah, I was just talking
And-
with Pyvon. I'm giving her a bunch of stickers. We should
Right.
get in the goodie.
I also think you should build the biggest, bestest camera you have, put it on a tripod and have it next to the table there.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
So I think,
With somebody there, obviously. but I don't think-
I was thinking about insurance,
I'm just saying, at some point, if you have somebody down there spending an hour or two, kind of giving information what Media offers, to have a camera there with a tripod, it would be a great thing. It doesn't have to be all the time, but maybe that Saturday where it's gonna be super packed or something, I don't know.
What was the birthday, the first year of ORCA Media?
I wrote it down because I knew that you asked. Let's see.
2002? 2003?
It's like,
I should know because I was there.
I think it's 2020, or I'm sorry, 2003.
Yeah.
2003?
Mm-hmm.
And we're coming up, this is now 2026, okay? So it's our
2000.
23rd anniversary.
Mhm.
I'm
We got
looking, trying to do a big thing on our 25th.
yeah, so we got two years.
So
for-
2028, we should have some kind of a silver anniversary of
Yeah,
ORCA
be
Media.
fun.
So for the Green Mountain Film Festival, I'll send over some swag. But in terms of just I guess, nothing on their website or anything. I think we're okay with just being partnered with, right? And then,
I think so. I
um,
don't know. I don't know what else we would do.
I have a question about merch. Do we have anything like ORCA t-shirts?
Oh, yes,
so
They
we,
look good also.
I have one.
so we have
Well, I
market
think-
t-shirts for community producers.
Go.
Yeah,
We
I was
have,
just thinking when we go to the film festival, it'd be nice to wear our ORCA t-shirt.
yeah.
I don't think we have ORCA staff t-shirts.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need merch.
We need merch.
Swag.
I'm with you, I'm
That
with
we have-
you.
I think we generally do, we have some swag, we have little flashlights, we have the reusable bags. I think we're out of the orange bags, but we have the other, so we don't have a lot of money for merch. I think t-shirts are always a little bit expensive, so we have, but we have like, so we could do like those bags and the flashlights.
The Ziploc bag.
Yeah, the
And the
Be
Chico.
nice if somebody new like Annika could do a little ORCA tattoos.
We have,
fake tattoos, ORCA fake tattoos, so if we, but if you want to wear one, babe.
Yeah.
Hey, you look great in one, absolutely. I think if somebody could spend like, again, like a little time down there, kind of, I don't know, one of those days, that'd be great to pass out the merch and information about Orca Media, have a banner showing what we offer. I think that wouldn't hurt.
Sounds like something somebody could sponsor.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so that's Green Mountain Film Festival, so I will reach out to see and I guess I'll touch base with Paivon to see what's a bit like,
Right.
what the space allows for. And if there was a community producer who wanted to do like something about, the Green Mountain Film Festival, and I'll ask Annika if she wants to go down there and participate in some way.
Oh, hey, Jen, CJ just wrote, if you want to look at the chat, she said, I was just pricing t-shirts, and believe it or not, Staples has some very good prices, $6 a shirt, as long as you buy enough and only put logo on front and back. So then she said, how many, question mark. So I think somehow she's listening to us. Hello, CJ.
Do we have a, what's our logo? I don't even know what our logo is.
Pretty good, our logo.
I was like,
Yeah, I mean, that's my big question with any sort of a merch thing is it feels like it could, if we did a refresh of like branding, I could see it, or if we had something that was especially sort of cool and counterculture-y, like an orca like downing a ship back when
I'm thinking just about, a simple thing, because it's ORCA, it starts with an O, which is the same size and shape as a lens. So I'm thinking of something that looks like a kind of camera with the O of the O of ORCA, a lens.
Very clever.
Anyway.
So, do we want to put this in new business somewhere like earmark?
I'm sorry, it's
let's look
all
at
me.
Hey, I'm with you, but I'm just trying to.
It would be good. I think we need someone cooler than any of us to come up with.
Yeah, or a combination of all of us.
All right.
so,
I've learned from working with really good graphic designers, sort of like our consultants on the alternative revenue, that it's much faster.
Just saying, for next year, we could have students from my school. There's some students that are like amazing graphic designers, like amazing. They do like work
Yeah.
like.
Right.
I
would be
could
great.
use them as a competition. See who comes up with the best. They do
Yes.
stickers. They do their stickers are like amazing. We do stickers.
That's
So
cool.
I could have all that for next year.
Mm-hmm.
We could do that.
That'd be cool.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
If there was a genius kid, they could put all of the entries on one shirt, and then we could wear them and people could vote on the one they wanted to be the final
Oh,
winner.
that'd be funny. That's very clever.
We'll put QR codes on them, I'm hearing.
Put our sponsors
for
in
15
on that.
minutes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry to extend the meeting with my crazy ideas.
Okay, so Jen, did you say that the art walk is an old business but did you say what you were going to say about art walk before when we were?
I think, that our plan is to do art on camera for the next one. But that if you have ideas, like we're planning on doing art walk all year, so if you have ideas for the next one, to let us know so that we could, either start making contact with whoever needs to be contacted, to let us know for the art walk.
Yeah, I just did an event in Waterbury where we had works in progress. We screened works in progress films, and then people who were there gave like feedback,
That's
and
good.
that is something that could be.
That's
When we were there, actually, Sam Lapointe was one of the people.
Oh, yeah,
there. He showed his film that he's working on,
Yeah.
and
Oh, that would be
he
so
was saying,
good.
"Oh, we should bring my students would love this," and I was
That
like,
would
"Yeah,
be so
Carlos'
good.
students would like it too. It'd be really
Yeah.
good." So
All right,
that's
I have to go right now, so I want to thank you all, and I'll see you.
Yeah.
I did.
Needed.
Bye-bye.
So
Can I
I'm
pick
sorry.
up on Dave's question about the rent increase?
And I'm done.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, how much is it now, and are we on a lease? Is it locked in for how long?
Okay.
You turn it off.
We are in a lease. I feel like it's 5 years, but I'd have to get back to you, and I think it's a 7% increase per year, but I'd have to also get back to you. It wasn't any, when Greenway took over, it didn't change in any way from what it was before. So, let's see.
So it's a 5-year with a 7% annual increase?
I think so. So here, I've got the renewal.
Okay.
And we're in what year of 5 years now?
So we're good till 28. So we are still part of, they took over that 5-year lease, I think. And so we've got it till 28. This next, so 2025 to 2026 is 2,974. And then it goes to 3,063 and 88 cents. So let's see. And then we have a 3-year extension that is offered beyond this lease. Sorry if so that's where I got, I think, the 5-year in my head. So this lease goes till 2028, and then we have the option for another 3-year extension.
At the same terms?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it looks like it's a 3% increase. Then it's not 7, sorry. So a 3% increase.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay, sorry about all the bad info at the beginning of misremembering.
We do have new neighbors where the bridge used to be, right? The
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
computer.
North Branch Tech is now in the bridge space, and I think there's also a social worker and also in that off to the side when you
Where
first come.
did the bridge go?
That store that used to be downtown with the blue door, it's where the Heaney building used to be. It's I think he still owns it. It's there's a blue door and they were selling dog treats there for a while. It's like a dog bakery.
It's behind Bohemian. Is it not
Yeah,
Tossie
Bohemian.
Jeweler? Is it in the same space as the Tossie Jewelry?
I think so, though
Yeah.
I was getting this explained
Did
to me
Tossie
just last
leave?
weekend.
I don't know. Maybe there was 2 spaces in there that they
They
took.
moved, I think, from
Oh.
I was getting this explained to me. Yeah, it's down beside Bohemian Bakery now.
Okay.
They were going to
That's
get moved to
interesting.
another spot on the campus here, but didn't want to do that, and so they moved downtown.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of which, for new business, for things for later, we should get a relationship with the computer folks, the tech folks. That could be some energy there.
Yeah,
maybe.
I was gonna reach out to them because I think they may get like, can you digitize videos? Cause that often comes and like,
Interesting.
and so if
Nice.
they get questions about like digitizing or that they can come talk to us and like, just like if we get stuff that I think we've had people come looking for them. But if they have
Mhm.
computer questions, like we generally try not to answer computer questions and we can refer them to there. And so I think
Yeah.
there is definitely a relationship. I think I was gonna wait a little bit because it seems like they're still doing some construction type stuff
Yeah.
over there. So I was like,
Okay.
once they get settled in, I was gonna walk over and say, hey,
Yeah. So our next thing is the board spaces. We have 2, and we've chatted about this a little bit about getting geographic representation and I mentioned to Jen before the meeting that maybe we could reach back out to Rachel
Rachel.
Muse, who joined when I did and then had to step down for family reasons. Just check with her again. I remember she was a really good board member.
Yeah. Sure.
Waterbury, what's this?
So she lives in Montpelier, but she was working in Waterbury, so it was nice that she had feet in
Right.
2 different regions within our service area. So I think if you have, and I don't know if it's still the case, Mark Gwen, who was our Ed Jones representative, like he passed it on to another
Oh, we
person.
did.
But he also had said, you know, when I had gone down there to pick up, when he was like, you know, talking about board member, and he's like, oh, I would have liked, you know, I would have liked to have been, but he's now the mayor, and he's still like, it's so, like, he was passing off our account to another one, but he's still kind of part of it, so I was like, you know, probably wouldn't be good, because he's, you know, but I did ask him to think about, you know, if he happened to know anyone who would want to be a board member also, so, and that was a while ago, but it would be nice to have, I think, having Palin, who was a municipal representative, to have that look, or someone who knows, that would be also kind of nice to have in our board, as well as, but, so if people know and can think about your networks and who might be in there,
Or a lawyer.
a lawyer.
If we could use a lawyer, we're always talking about kicking questions to the lawyers.
Yeah.
Right.
So the next, I think, before everyone goes, the next meeting
Yeah, let's pin a date down.
is April 28th, is the 4th Tuesday of April. So does that still work, or where are school breaks? Is there a school break during April?
Yes, it's the week after, it's the, what week is this?
I think it's the week before that is school break.
No, our week is gonna be later. It's gonna be the 20th.
The week of the 20th?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right.
The week of the 20th.
Right, that
and then
week.
The week of the 28th is.
The week after.
After.
Right, okay.
So does that still work then, that Tuesday of the 28th?
It works for me as long as school is not on break.
The schools are in break till. No, here, let's see. Schools are starting to align more now.
Finally.
At least Central Vermont is trying a little bit more.
Yeah, my next week is actually lining up with Brattleboro, which was surprising.
April, let's see, April break is the week of the 20 to the 20, yep. So we're back at school the 27th.
Okay.
So that Tuesday is fine.
Okay. All right,
I don't know about Randolph. Randolph,
we lost
we
Michael.
lost Randolph, okay,
And I can double check Randolph's calendar as well.
all right.
Okay, so that'll be the next meeting, and unless we have anything else, I'm happy to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Do we have to do a motion to adjourn also?
That's what Pat's cheat sheet here tells me I'm supposed
Yes,
to
you
do.
do, but you don't need a whole lot of seconds in voting. Just, I move to adjourn the meeting.
So is Pat moving?
I did.
Oh,
Okay,
so motion to adjourn?
all right.
All right, cool.
Aye. Well, I guess I don't technically vote now, do I? This is gonna be, I'm gonna have to get used to
I
not
don't
being
think we
able.
have to second anything, right?
Do you know what?
No.
All right, so we're adjourned.
See you guys.